Hello, I'm Benson and welcome to my video. Today I'm going to show you this Zhiyun gimbal. Model number is Crane M3S Combo. Now let me tell you this is one good looking gimbal. All the gimbal I had before is either the plain black version and maybe they have a funky like inlays of metal to make them look a bit nicer. But this one is two-tone black and white and also come with a kind of a camera bag in white and black as well, which goes with the theme. It does have some inlay of red as well, just to make it stand out a little bit. Usually I do unboxing and first use video. Today I actually put everything back from yesterday because I actually did a whole video with the gimbal and the Sony ZV-1 generation 2 the whole day, so I can tell you a bit more about the functionality rather than just the aesthetic on this product. As usual, my video is not scripted, so I'm just going with what I like and what I don't like about this product. It comes in a very nice looking box actually, design wise, packaging wise, can't fault this company at the moment. And inside the box, straight to the bag. Because they're giving you a bag, they've gone away with having to pack the products like styrofoam or foam packing, anything like that. Now I know styling could be a very subjective thing, but I really like the black and white design. I always love the logo in Chinese writing. All the seams are really well stitched together. Overall, a very nice bag, but I don't see any strap or anything like that because they come in all these like funny brackets, which I actually don't like, but I'll mention that later on in the video. The front flap is actually magnetic, and once you open the flap, you see the nice company logo here, and the usual front pouch, which is very good for your MIDI cards. That's something you need to access quickly. And to access the inside of the bag, you got one zip which open all the way around. And inside, this is how everything is laid out. So you got your all-important gimbal itself. I'm sorry if I sound like I'm having a cold. This is hay fever season and I'm already on full dose of antihistamine, but I'm still suffering a little today. So this is the gimbal. Check that out. I really like the black and white theme here with the red kind of inlay in some of the places. Looks really sharp. Now I got gigantic hands because I'm 6'1" and I find the grip a bit too small for me. I will talk more about that later on. Your first motor mount here. To unlock it, slide the metal button, and then your second one here as well, and the last one here. So this is your 3XL gimbal, and this is 360, so you can go around like a vortex mode. Overall, I think this is a really well made gimbal. The gimbal body is made from plastic. All the arms and the motor mounts and all that is all made from metal. So you got your strap with those little hooks to hook onto the outside of your bag. You got your tripod stand. So this one you screw onto bottom of your tripod. Personally, we'll be using this a lot because I do not like how short the handle is. For smaller person, you will love it. Everything is within reach of your thumb. But for me, my hand is way too big, so I always like, gripping it like this, which affects the controls. But with a tripod legs like this, then for me, it's just perfect. Very stable on the table or on any surface. Can't really fault them. Again, the black goes with the white really well. We come with a quick release plate to mount your camera. One click on the side here, and you can slide out this. Unfortunately, there's no secondary safety. So if you do hit that by mistake, which is quite rare, but if you do hit this by mistake while the camera is falling this direction, you can just slide off and your camera will be on the floor. A few users were saying that you can't get replacement of the quick fix plate, which I'm not sure. Maybe you have to contact the manufacturer if you need a spare. It comes with a bag of accessories. So you got loads of cables here. This become really important for me because I have a Sony ZV-1 Mark II, and this is Mark I was famous for a weak battery, and to be honest with you, this is exactly the same. Because the gimbal has a bigger battery, so I would like to draw power from the gimbal to the camera. Unfortunately, yesterday, because I was a novice and that's the first time I'm using it, I didn't bring the cable, so I end up having to charge the camera in between shots, because I was out the whole day. Whereas the gimbal, I kind of like, leave it on most of the time. Use it for at least a solid quite a couple of hours in motion, and by the end of the day, I still got more than half of the battery left. A whole day of shooting with my Sony camera tilted to this battery, that will be ideal, which I'm going to do later on in this video, just to test out my theory. But if you have a mobile phone and you want to use these, they also come with the adapter for mounting your phone, and this is really solid metal mount. And finally, you got your instruction booklet and your service card. You got your LCD display, and the back is nice and bright display actually, and it's a touch screen as well. You got your joystick at the bottom side here, which is ready for your thumb. You got your memory button, and then you got another function button. You got the control for the light on the side here. You can actually press down on the wheel as well as scroll up and down. In the front to your index finger, there's another control wheel right here. And then you got your trigger button really close to the wheel itself. And that's this overall control. Everything is where your fingers can reach, as long as you have enough space to grip onto the handle. And you got a 1/4" threaded mount on the side here. So if you do want to attach some kind of a lighting equipment or your own rig, you can also do that as well. Power button on the side is a press and hold to start the gimbal, as well as a USB-C port in for charging the battery. Now this one you can charge with a PD compatible charger, and according to the manufacturer, you can fully charge this battery in 2 hours. Pairing this with a power bank which can do PD on the go, I'm really hoping that this will power my camera and make it last longer, as well as being charged relatively quickly in between shoots. I'm going to do the ZV Mark II because this is the camera I'm using a lot at the moment on the go. So the usual way to mount it is fix the quick release plate onto your camera of choice, unlock all the motors, one axle at a time, and to adjust all the arms, usually there's little lever, and they're all metal machines, so they are really solid. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the best balance and let the motor has as little stress as possible. Okay, so it does take some time to play around with it to make sure everything is kind of set up. So now this is how I kind of managed to balance it as much as I can, and now this is ready to turn on. So to turn on the gimbal, all you need to do is just press the power button on the side here and press and hold it, and then it springs to life. As soon as you go into gimbal, it will stabilize your camera. A bit of a close-up while this is on. You can see the LED display at the back is touchscreen, and they are really bright. The field light in the front here does work. It's not just for decoration purposes. To turn it on, there's a wheel on the side here which actually click on, click and hold, and the light will come on. And while you click the light display, you got two options. One is to change the color warmth, and the other is to change the strength of the light. So at the moment 3700 Kelvin, and the light is at the moment 30%. Yesterday in the kind of art museum, this was really useful, not just for me to take video, but actually for my wife, who is using the phone camera to take some picture in the dark, and this actually do help. Now because it's a very little light source, so if you do go very close to the subject, it sometimes does look like that the deer come out and then you got the headlight shining in the face, that kind of effect. But this light will help you out in a very tricky situation where you don't have enough light. Working really well yesterday. The usual, like, double click to reset everything, triple click to turn it around. The joystick at the back, easy to get to, and you can control your camera angle as such at ease. And the front wheel here does work as well, where I'm using my index to control it. Now let's go with the kind of negative, the things that I don't like. So first thing is, because of the size of the gimbal and the size of my hand, holding it means that you only have 3 fingers on the grip. The other 2 is kind of missed out on anything. Naturally, I do try to grab it with a better hold, so at the end, grabbing it like that, The problem is that, now I'm hitting the controls unintentionally. Because yesterday at some point I was holding it and then I was like, oh, why is the camera moving on its own? And then I find out that actually the web of my finger here was hitting the joystick. So this is not good. And sometimes when I'm trying to reach out to the LCD display to change something, you do accidentally knock on a bit of the function. But it can be solved by twisting in the tripod end here. Then you have plenty of gripping space. You can hold it with two hands if you need to. You can hold it with one hand just slightly down from where the buttons are, and this will help you a lot. The second thing I don't like about this set is the actual bag itself. Now the design is excellent and I'm sure I will use this to store my gimbal in the future. But the only problem is you can't store it with your camera on. And you can see this one here, it can never go back to the small factor for storage. And if you try to fit it in your bag, and you can see that the camera now is sticking out from the top where you can't really zip it up. Or you turn the other way around, try to squeeze it in. And you can see that the thickness of the bag is now not enough. Unless you want to squash your camera and risk it, or else you can't really put this back into the storage of the bag. So I do understand, they try to catch up with time and provide you with a nice bag for your gimbal, so you don't need to use a flight case or any other bags to put the gimbal in. But all they need to do is to make sure that this has another couple of inches tall to accommodate when there is a camera on the thing. I mean, they do come with a quick release plate, so all you need to do is just click this and the camera slide out, and this will make it easier to store. But at the same time, you can still see that one of the joints just would not fold it flat like when it was come in. This is better, so it can stay in the bag itself, but at the same time I can't really just put it in the bag. Or some people will say, well, you can always adjust the clamps back to the original position. I yet to know anyone who do this balancing on the machine every time. Once you have your camera set, you balance it once, you remember the setting and you always go back to the setting. But you don't want to start fiddling with all the joints every time that you take your gimbal out of storage. Now the quick mount is something that I really enjoy using. Once you have set your camera up correctly, all you need to do is just push until it clicks and it's in place, and this should be perfect balance every time. It takes about 30 seconds for it to boot up, so it doesn't take much time at all, so less chance of you missing on any important footages. You can rotate this axle on 360, so there's low limit on how much you can turn on this axle. Tilting up and down, the lowest you can do is 45 down. And you can point backwards if you tilt it enough. And the joints are really flexible, so you can have it like pointing forward, upside down, but then your lens will be in front of that. Used it yesterday the whole day. I didn't have any problem with motor noise or anything like that. It was just working as it should. So the Sony stabilization is turned off, so now it's purely the Crane M3S doing all the stabilization. So as you can see, if I am moving this about, really good smooth motor action to stop any kind of motion. Now this is a very nice feature that I think it should be available on all gimbal with a display. It actually shows you what the motor is doing right now. So if your camera is really well balanced, then you shouldn't see a lot of blue bar there unless you are moving a lot, where the motor has to work against the initial force of your camera moving. So example, if I push onto this side here, you can see that the motor now have to work extra hard to against my force of my finger. If that is the case, then you know your camera is not balanced enough for the rest of the day. It will still work because the motor is so powerful to overcome that kind of things. That's why they have a payload limit. But you want the gimbal to work as little as possible throughout your shoots. So here I know that, you know, because at the moment I have my screen closed, so, you know, it is kind of like, you know, it will never be balanced, because if I flip the screen, then it will be too heavy on this side. If I flip it back, on that side. But throughout the day of shoot, I will have the screen at different position. But it's okay. The motor, this particular motor will be able to handle that. For example, if the screen is out, then it will be heavier on this side, slightly. But that's okay, because I compensated it with a little bit on that side when the screen is not open. So if you understand what your gimbal is doing, you should have no motor noise, overheat, or anything like that. So take your time and balance your gimbal properly. Now sometimes, no matter what you do, you can't balance it completely. For example, if you've got a long lens in the front, you can sit the camera as far as it can go, but still, the lens may be too heavy in the front. Then you've got two options. Either you add some weight to the back of the camera to balance it, or have a look at the chart and see if that is acceptable. If you see yellow, or yellow color or straw color, then you know that it's not going to work for a long period of time. So with all the lights off, with most of my blinds down, this is kind of really in the dark place. I mean, I can just about to see things because there's light seeping through the window over there. But my Sony seems to be really good at low lights at the moment, because I can still see my face on the screen. A bit dark, but it's okay. So let me turn on the light. To turn on the lights on this particular gimbal, all you need to do is press down on the wheel on the side, and the light will come on. Now, because I'm filming myself, I can't really see the setting right now, so I'm just going to quickly turn it around. So this is 50% light intensity from the light, but this is really blinding bright, so I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to turn it back on again. But this time, instead of like, you know, I'm like a deer in the headlight, I'm going to turn down the light a little bit. So this is as dim as it can go. And this is fantastic, because if you do want to get out of a tight spot, you haven't got your external light set up or anything like that, but you still want to film something in the dark restaurant and things like that, you can turn it on. I would love to see the setting be able to tone down even more, but this is the lowest it can go. I mean, it can go brighter, but it wouldn't go any softer than this. But because sometimes just a hint is almost enough. If I put something like a frosted piece of paper in front, I don't know about you, but even this is better than this. But that's just my own opinion. You can always like modify the lights in the front if you want to. The other thing you can do is you can change color. So this is the yellowest it can go, and this is the blue tint that it can go. Obviously, I always go with something in between, but anyway, but this is just my own personal preference. You can use it however you want, but the good thing is it's built in, so you will never forget to bring it, and the battery life is good on this, so even if you leave it on for a while, it's not going to eat too much into your battery life. And now you see why this is so important to have a light. It's almost like if it is there, you'll use it. If it is not there, then you'll miss it. So the final and the last thing I don't like about the combo is that you pay extra for a very nice bag. I do love the bag, by the way. I like the color, I like the design. I don't even mind carrying the logo because it's such a good product. It comes with the black and white design of the gimbal. I really want to show it off on the street, but what's up with this strap, man? How is it supposed to work? I mean, I haven't done any BDSM before, so, you know, I'm not really good at this kind of thing, but There is 4 hooks here. There's no information on how you're supposed to hook it up, so I'm just doing my guess. My best guesstimate is like, you know, there's 4 hooks, so you hooks onto the 4D ring here, right? Someone please do a tutorial on how you're supposed to carry this bag. Is it supposed to be like a backpack now? That you carry it? It just feels a bit odd because the strap is not that long, so you know I know I'm a bit bulky, but are you supposed to carry it like this? Because I would like to have it like a messenger bag, so you know, maybe I'm supposed to unhook these 2. And do I carry it on the side like this? I don't know, it's just not really designed for carrying like this then. But I guess maybe it's supposed to be versatile. Well, put it in the comment section and let me know what you think about the bag, because you are paying extra for the bag. And I don't know. This is important because I did pay extra for the bag, right? In terms of working functionality, I really love this gimbal. The motor is strong, the idea that you can see how well your thing is balanced on the screen. The light itself, built-in, nice and strong light in the front. Yeah, leave in the comment section. Let me know how good or how bad this product is and how would you like me to further test this product. Thank you very much for watching. I can't wait to see you next time with more interesting gadget. Bye bye.